we're back. Nice to
We're
see
back.
you. Hello, everybody.
Uh,
Oh, I should say, actually, shouldn't I? If we're going to be really professional, that please ask everybody out there that sees this to like and subscribe, and then you'll get notified whenever we're going live again, and you can catch up with us. We would love to have you like and subscribe and help us build this thing. All right.
yeah.
Hello, Nadia.
Hi, Anne-Marie. I think we've left out last week, so we've got a bit of catching up to do.
Yeah, we're a
Because,
few days late, aren't we? Yeah, we are.
but I have a really juicy topic that I.
We nearly got through talking about it before we hit record, didn't we? We got on a roll.
So it's Christmas,
Yeah.
like next week, and I find Christmas always quite a interesting time of the year, quite sticky for a lot of people. And the first thought that I had this morning when I knew that we were going to talk about it this afternoon is for some strange reason, I wanted to Google the divorce rate around Christmas.
Oh, there's a cheery thought. Is that what us singletons do? We go, right, let's see what juicy stuff we can have about being single.
But it's I mean, if you Google it, and if you I remember back in the days when I don't know, I just looked at it, that the divorce rate actually goes up
Mm.
just before Christmas and after Christmas,
Yeah, it's
because
just, yeah, I'd heard about just after before. I wasn't
yeah.
really sure about the other, yeah.
So some of the reasons are that people just don't have the time to get divorced before, but now they've got momentum with the new year, so they
Mm.
want to change things. They're all in that change, and also that they are reminded of the expectations in their lives and around the family. And then it's also one of the so bad. One of the tricky things that it gets a bit crammed when you have like out of marriage relationships to fit them all in.
Yeah,
Your
and children
mistress, your
and children
girlfriend, and your wife, and the
and
children,
children become a
and the
bargaining chip
secretary.
as well, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the secretary, the one night stand, the girlfriend or the boyfriend. This is all both sides, yeah. And then the wife or the husband, and then the children, and then it all gets a bit too much.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's that thing is there's always so much expectation on it. And or sometimes I think sometimes every year people are let's just get through this Christmas and then I'll do the divorce thing. And then another year goes by, doesn't it? And
Yeah.
it is like one of those cataclysmic points, isn't it? It's a now or never kind of point, I think, to some extent, Christmas, isn't it? You expect magic, and when it falls short, or the feelings out there, or whatever it is, it's like,
Hmm.
yeah.
And also that all the family members come together suddenly. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they haven't seen each other the whole year, and suddenly mother-in-law, father-in-law, your own mother, then maybe the grandmother, then the grumpy grandfather from somewhere, then aunt, and everybody comes together. Yeah,
Yeah.
and a lot of the times I mean, there are beautiful moments, and there's a lot of excitement, and there's a lot of preparation and creativity and good food and all that. That's a one side, but often the reality is that it's connected to a lot of stress, lots of
Mm.
uncertainty, high financial demands,
Yeah.
the presents, the food, mm, the booze, all that alcohol that needs to be drank now,
Yeah.
what's going to come on the table, who's going to cook. I remember we often had discussion now, why must I stand in the kitchen now the whole day? And then everybody sits down, chomps it up. And that was my Christmas.
But
And the
I think
kid
there's
gets it.
certain mothers, what isn't there, that like that argument, but actually don't want anybody to help them and get under the toes, but they want to have the argument of now I've done this all on my own.
Both sides. So all these things come together at Christmas, and it's such a short time window. I mean,
Yeah.
we in Austria celebrate the 24th,
Right.
and then there's a 25th and a 26th, and then it's basically over, and then you're getting amped for the new year. So you've got a time window of 3 days where almost like 6 months is working towards these 3 days.
Yeah.
Expectation is somewhere up there. Reality is somewhere below half,
Mm.
like halfway. And yeah, I think that's just very, very interesting how the the expectation and
Yeah.
the actual hours. It's just hours, yeah.
I
And
think
it's also, yeah.
I was just going to say, I think for me, there was often a lot of pressure in our household for it to look a certain way. Like Christmas itself was always lovely, but the run up to it was like hell on wheels because all the cleaning and all the
Oh,
preparation and all the just everything. Um, and often things would get ruined by my dad mainly, but you know what I mean. It was like the table had to be a certain way, and if anything got spilt on the table, that was Christmas dinner ruined. And so you were really happy, you know, during Christmas, but the run up was really harsh, quite hard. And we would often have I talked to you about him before, our family friend Father Ted would join us for Christmas. So there was that added pressure for it to be perfect for him, but you know, he's tied into my childhood memories of Christmas. Father Ted and the cigars that he would smoke, and you'd come down on the
oh,
morning,
yeah.
smell that smell, and that will always be a part of Christmas, I think, a little bit to me. But it really was that thing of everything has to look perfect in a way for Ted as much as anything. Like we were hosting him, yeah.
And it's also it changed once I had my own children. Then it became this magical and the anticipation of the kids and the excitement and the baking of the Christmas cookies and what are they gonna the presents.
Oh.
And I did drag him to church, to the little children's mass. Sometimes it was nice, sometimes it wasn't. It just jam-packed full and you didn't get any space, that's the reality of it. It really, really changed there. And we, as a family, put a lot of effort into it.
Yeah.
But then the question came, what story do you tell the kids about Christmas?
Mm.
Because now a little bit of research, yeah. So for instance, Jingle Bells, I think it's probably one of the most popular songs, is
Yeah.
actually a song written for Thanksgiving. Huh? Suddenly becomes a Christmas song. Or that the birthday of Christ, of Jesus, which we are celebrating as Christians.
Yeah.
Nobody knows when he was born. So the
No.
Catholic decided, let's do the 24th.
And
And
would you get snow in Bethlehem? I'm not up on the geography.
not really. And the Russians, the Ukraine, and the Romanians, they celebrate Christ's birth date on the 7th of Jan, and so do the Orthodox.
Oh, so that's after the wise men have come then, technically, isn't it? Or the three kings.
Now, how do you put that together? And then you've got the dilemma of Father Christmas that looks like a obese Santa Claus, which we celebrate on the 6th of December.
Right.
It's like Nicholas.
Mm-hmm.
But now you've got something looking the same or very similar, just completely way. So a bigger beard without the hat like that, but more of a hanging one.
Right.
The 25th with the reindeers. I
Yeah.
mean, you start having you start having issues explaining because now in the shops and on TV and every the books. So which way do you go? And it's really difficult.
Well, and you've also got the pagans, who essentially we are hijacking the festival too, with a whole different spin on it.
It's really one of the most confusing 3 days of the year.
Well, I used to always think, because my birthday falls smack in the middle, which I always liked because it always guaranteed I was off school for my birthday, unlike other kids. Now, my mantra used to be, if Christmas is rubbish, I've got my birthday. If my birthday's rubbish, I've got New Year. That was my Christmas mantra.
And I was
Only
always
one of them had to be okay.
ticked off because I had St. Nicholas and Krampus, which is the guy, the dude who fetches the children who haven't behaved. Then I had my birthday. Then I had Christmas and New Year. It was all in 1 month.
Yeah.
Then the whole year,
You
nothing.
felt like you had nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did get a little bit of that, but I guess I was lucky in lots of ways. I was lucky because people did make an effort to make it a separate thing. I didn't get too much of the lumped in presents and all of that. I was a bit lucky like that. Christmas was the time of plenty in our family. It was
Yeah.
we might have done without things year round, or you might not have felt that you could ask for things. But come Christmas, we did get, there's no two ways about it. We did get a lot of toys and things like that.
Yeah.
Christmas, we definitely did. I remember one morning we were that excited when we woke up, me and my sister. We ran straight downstairs to the tree, and there was nothing there. But in our excitement, we didn't realise Mum had set it all up in the bedroom, so we'd actually just run past everything and straight downstairs. When we came back up, there was loads of it. It was everywhere, including a very scary clown that I never bonded with, like this 3 foot long clown with long legs. I don't know where that came from, but yeah, we were very lucky in that sense. Yeah,
And
definitely.
what story did you follow, sort of, or what story were you
Very
told?
much the Catholic thing. When you were saying about mass and what the experience was, it tickled me because we eventually in Leeds, West Yorkshire, where I came from, they had to stop the midnight mass. They had to cancel it because the drunks would come in and cause disarray in the back.
Oh,
There was one year there was a guy in front of us in the bench, and he was so drunk he was going and donking his head on the on the bench in front of him, and somebody would drag him back up, put him down, and he'd just repeat the cycle. So they stopped midnight mass, which was a shame because midnight mass was rather a lovely thing. But yeah, I was very much raised Catholic and traditional and all of
did
that.
you also have at church those little like what do you call it, little shows of about the Jesus
Nativity.
story? Yeah.
Yeah, there was the nativity at the front. They'd bring in. It was quite big. It was. I think it's where one of the candle stands were. So they clear it all out, and yeah, they'd have all the statues and the hay, and yeah, they had the whole.
But yeah.
I was actually the star one year in our nativity because I happened to be by a hair's breadth the tallest kid in the class. I soon stopped being the tallest anything, but yes, for one year I was the star of Bethlehem.
Which also created, I remember it always created a bit of pressure amongst the kids. Who's going to be who?
Mm,
And you had to sort of suck it up to the priest, You had to be the goody two shoes to get that, or be really nice at
yeah.
school, Sunday school. Otherwise, you didn't get a part.
Yeah,
I
that
never
was
did.
that was very rare for me. It wasn't very often in my life that I got to be a starring role. And what they do now is they just create more roles like turtles and elephants and things for kids, don't they?
Yes,
Nobody
exactly.
gets
So that it's equal.
disappointed.
No. So yeah, I find this really, really, even now it's confusing. For me now, sitting here in South Africa, it's really warm. And
Yeah,
but the buying and the overloading the trolley with alcohol and the amount of food that is going to be eaten in 3 days.
yeah.
All the shops are open, nothing is closing.
I,
And it's
I struggle
more
with that. Yeah.
and my kids in Vienna send me videos already where the Christmas chocolate and Christmas gingerbread was already out on the shelves like beginning of October.
You
I
look at the
mean,
dates and you think, well, I have to eat that now, don't you? It's like all the mince pies. It's like they've got a 2 day lifespan on them. It's like, mince meat lasts forever. How does it only how's it bad in 2 days? But
and I
yeah,
find it
it's
really sad that the traditions have get lost so much, and it's always nice to see that when families then keep up the long, long traditions,
mm,
even when the children are already grown, to keep up yeah the family traditions and also from our culture. I
mm,
mean, I remember my daughter went to primary school, and then one year in the third year the old teacher resigned,
right.
so we got this new teacher in, really nice, and she had this henna dyed orange hair, and she was
Mm,
really pleasant and all that. But then at Christmas, and this is still back in the days where I was very conditioned,
yeah.
and kids are now going, Catholic and all that. Well, some of them went, I had a bit of a back and forth between Protestant, but doesn't matter. So, and then she started singing shaman songs at Christmas. And I
um,
remember as parents just sitting there going, no, this is this is just a bit much now. We do live in Austria, and let's just keep it to something. But
yeah,
she had shaman drums and shaman songs at Christmas.
right, yeah.
Oh,
I,
Yeah.
I think there is some fun in that, isn't there? It's often a time where there's a bit of what the hell was that? I think there's often quite a bit of that at Christmas when
Yeah.
people take poetic license.
Yeah, we're not bad when no, anyway. So there's been, I think everybody has a long catalogue of stories to talk about at
Mm.
Christmas or around the Christmas time. And then the pressure, where are you going to have Christmas?
Mm.
But especially when you have I got divorced. So there was this choosing at the beginning,
Yeah.
it wasn't possible to have it together.
And
And I
it's
actually
that emotional thing every year.
thought,
Oh, they're going to be with me or they're going to be with him. Is it a bit of
exactly. And it's just completely ridiculous. And I remember the first time on the 24th, they actually went to their father.
that? Mm.
I'll never forget, I lay in the bathtub with
Oh.
a bottle of wine
Yeah.
and candles. And I was just lying there in the hot tub with my dogs on the side. And I thought, this isn't too bad. This is not too bad. And of course, I missed them.
Yeah.
And we sort of created the sort of, yeah, one day, 1 week, 1 year, 24th there and a 25th there. But now my kids, even now, I'm going, oh, I'm not going to be there at Christmas. They're like, Mom, it's just like every other day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not actually.
No, yeah, maybe the younger generations are different now, but even me every year. It's funny. I've had a lovely surprise just before I came on here.
Yeah.
Um, I always feel like a lot of pressure to really enjoy December, and I am often poorly in some form or another. And that's me holding my hand up saying, I have wired my mind in some way to expect that, and I've told you I've had a dicky leg this December, so I've been limping around. But I forget every year that I have that belief that there's something not quite right in December that goes wrong. I had flu last year, and so you've got these subconscious beliefs, and
Yes.
your body tracks time as much as your mind does, and it might, like an anniversary of a bereavement or something, and you might have forgotten or slipped your mind, but your body knows. Your body remembers what happens at this time of year. I think there's some of that with me, that it's my body saying, no, 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 don't try and make it perfect because it's not going to work. It's a bit like that, really. But yeah, just before I came on, I'd not really realised that I was worried or concerned at all that there's nobody about that's going to buy me a present. It'll be just if I
Yeah.
treat myself to something. And then lo and behold, my lovely friend Mary Lou in Nottinghamshire, a box had literally just been delivered, and there's tons of things. There's things for my birthday, things for Christmas. And just to have that thing of putting things under my tree, to have things under my tree has just done so much for me. It's like, oh,
Nice.
there is Christmas. There's Christmas. There's the evidence of it, And I'm not a big, I'm not somebody who, it's not my love language necessarily, presents, but it really has done something for me as that. It's like, yes, this
It
is
is nice.
Christmas. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, no, I've got no, this year I've got no, well, didn't have a tree last year either, no tree. And I'm really just going to have the 24th and the 25th, just like every other day. I'm going to try this year.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
but it's fine. If I don't have my kids around, I don't have any family around it really. It's the dog and I.
Hmm.
Everybody's going to be sitting around with their families and all that. And so I think it'll just be nice to do the stuff that I like doing, walk.
Yeah, I'm gonna say make sure you do things that are
Yeah,
meaningful to you. Yeah, for sure. Or
yeah.
little treats to you, whether that's emotional things or yeah, yeah.
And also be there for some of my clients. And it's always a very tricky time as well for the people who have dementia who I
Yeah.
support is,
Does Christmas and decorations around do anything, to them? Does it kind of
well,
stir
you never
things
know
up?
what gets triggered. Sometimes it's really nice emotions, and sometimes it's just not nice emotions. As you know, our brains are wired at some stage, and then we take that wiring into our old age and into the dementia.
Mhm.
And the families often put a lot of effort into it, to make it just so nice for mom because maybe this is her last Christmas.
Yeah.
And an overwhelm of so many people in the room, and then sometimes there's no recognition for, who's actually sitting in the room because they've now just forgotten. And then
Yeah.
there's a sensory overload, and yeah, deep memory comes up,
Mm.
and we often don't know, as I know, and probably you as well, that there were many years that I sort of pretended that everything was hunky dory. This
Yeah.
wonderful Christmas,
Yeah.
and parts of it were wonderful. I'm
Mm.
not saying that this is all just negative. What I'm trying to say is that how did I put it into, how did I brand it into my brain, And I always say, oh, it was so wonderful.
It's that thing of no matter what, it's Christmas, it is going to look this way, regardless
And
of
it's
whether it
very
feels that
nice.
way. Yeah.
Nice, and we're all going to be jolly. I remember my dad and me often sat or stood in the back just drinking wine, just
Mm.
to get a bit of a, I don't know, fuzzy feeling around it.
Yeah, to kind of
But
have a false equilibrium or something. Yeah.
exactly. And then there's I remember the moments of stress when the kids unpacked the Lego hospital.
Oh.
Well, actually, it was Playmobil. It
Yeah.
was the hospital. And you as a parent just go, okay, that's my next 3 hours of the evening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Putting together little flower pots, yeah,
Yeah.
and little I don't know, ambulances, and you've got to and you're just sitting there. I remember one Christmas, I just had one beer after the other because I had to put this thing together. You're sitting there looking at the instructions going,
Yeah.
you've got the daughter going, when will be finished, mummy?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Or it would be the very long games of Trivial Pursuit or Monopoly, wouldn't it? That went 6 hours.
Actually, when I say this now jokingly, I do remember though, because I just felt it sort of cringe together a bit. It was the first Christmas that my ex-husband wasn't there.
Right.
So the responsibility of putting together the Playmobil or the
Yeah.
Lego was now mine.
As
And
well
I
as all the food and everything else. Yeah.
And I remember sitting in my bedroom, putting it together, drinking one beer after the other, but also sobbing like a baby, like I
Oh,
was crying because
yeah.
it sort of reminded me of you're on your own now,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
doing
That's
this.
that's what sprung to my mind as soon as this, I'm on my own in this. I have to figure all of this out. Yeah.
And and then as a separate couple, you never have these. Well, I didn't have these conversations with my ex-husband, which I actually hope to have next year with him and to say, how did you experience it? Because we always think that the other person is having such a great time. Well, actually, you
Yeah.
don't know. And you
No.
never talk about how shit you were actually doing that Christmas evening while putting together that Playmobil
Mm.
hospital, putting a stiff upper lip so the kids wouldn't notice that you actually, because they were probably missing their dad too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
so, and to be real like that and to be honest like that, I think is really, really needed, because it takes away that illusion that
That it has to be perfect in order to be enjoyable. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. And also, the kids we always had to get dressed nicely. We always had to, oh God, I hated it.
Yeah.
And there was just no chilled. And my kids love it now. I think they get, I don't know how they do it Christmas. They invite people and I think they just have a nice dinner. I don't know if they get dressed up. I haven't spent Christmas with them
Yeah.
for.
I think that these days it's quite nice in that I don't think people I think a lot of families don't feel that same pressure to have the best new clothes, and it's more about being comfortable and having a Christmas jumper and just doing it. Yeah, I think it's a bit nicer now, isn't it? It's not like so formal and you're in this restricted clothing all day while you've eaten 4 times as much food as you usually eat. I think people are a bit more laid back about it. I think it used to I think there's maybe used to be a lot more pressure on it, I think.
And we have this thing here that, I mean, we have it everywhere, but I'm just noticing it, Christmas lunch in the restaurants. You would have to drag me there to
Mm.
go Christmas lunch
Yeah.
with about 60 plus people in the room,
Yeah.
all not in the best of
With
moods,
the
you know.
paper hats on.
Oh,
The paper,
God,
the
those
paper hats never
cracking
sit
things.
on my head because of my hair, so they always lift up. And I hate it. They're like labels to me. I hate sticky labels and I hate paper hats. I just, and it's like,
And then those crackers that you spend a fortune on, that you basically take the crackers and you chuck it away.
well, I just think, why have they never invented one that actually splits in the middle so that each of you get a half? That is like, I could, the point of it to me is that it should split in the middle, surely.
So I mean, as I think as people who are listening to this, they're probably going, God, is there anything positive? I think it's great. You know,
I
I
think
think
so because
Christmas Carol.
I think there's opportunities for people to show that they love you, that you're in the thoughts. Because that's what that's meant to me today with my friend Mary Lou. Because Mary Lou is going through a lot of health stuff. I mean, she was in the hospital for a scan the other day. And she's somebody that has to do everything in her own life. She has about like 14 dogs and a husband and elderly parents that, you know, like in the 90s, that she has to make sure are okay. And for somebody like her to have taken the trouble to do that and have it here ahead of time, you think, wow, that
Nice.
must have really made an impression. It kind of tells you that something about you is meaningful. I think there's opportunities to do that for people, isn't
Yeah.
there?
And there's also opportunity to get together. I mean, we on Friday, coming Friday, we've got carols on the beach. So
Hmm.
it is really beautiful. Every year we sit there at Central Beach. Everybody's got their little chairs, or you know, you're sitting in the sand. You've got your
Yeah.
candle. There's no alcohol allowed. Um, there's lots of kids, and there's just carol music playing. It's really, I must say, it's nice to for the community to come together. So
Yeah.
there are beautiful moments. I
Yeah.
just think that we have to integrate all of it, you know,
Hmm.
and at least talk about it,
Yeah.
at least share it and say, well, you know, these are the really juicy parts of Christmas, and these were really sticky parts. You know, did you
Yeah.
also have these sticky moments in the evening? Yeah, and then it takes the pressure out again. You
Hmm.
know, we've spoken about this a lot. As long as you start the conversation and talk about it and be real about it, and sort of, you know, yeah,
I
be
always,
real.
I always used to really struggle with it being over and getting back into January used to, without fail, be terrible for me because, you know, especially as a kid growing up that had been, you know, diagnosed with depression and anxiety, it was like Christmas was a bit of a respite where there was no pressure. I didn't have to worry about implications of how I was or what was expected next. So getting back into January and like, what's going to happen to you now? It was
Mm.
like, Jesus, I have to do this all over again, another year till there's that respite again. And I always used to really struggle with that. Yeah.
But it's also a hype.
Mhm.
It's a hype, 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 and then there's that
Yeah.
fall at the edges,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then I mean, then we've got New Year's around the corner, where again we'll have these high expectations. You
Yeah.
know, gotta be the New Year
And you've
party.
got to have somebody there to kiss on New Year's Eve. There's got to be somebody lined up and all of that. We're just
I've got
gonna, me and you will have to do this on New Year's this year.
my
Line up
Henry.
midnight and do it together.
I'm gonna get a big slobber kiss from my Henry.
Yeah, I haven't even got a dog this year. This is my
No, I
first dog.
know.
Although Mary Lou keeps trying to persuade me to go down and pick up Etienne, Brody's daughter. She's written on the Christmas card, and especially from Etienne. She's trying to, and it won't take much more to twist my arm. I'm sure. I'm wavering because
Are you
you
wavering?
a little bit. Yeah, I'll never not be a dog person. I can't help it.
Yes.
Yeah, just have to.
Listen, another thing that just sort of comes up. How is it with where you live now with the food for Christmas? Because that's a big thing as well.
Where I am specifically, you mean like up here in the north or just
Yeah.
generally? In the
Yeah.
north, yeah. Well, it's funny. I had a little road trip the other day to Golspie, which is about 60 odd miles down the road. And I really went to see if there was different ideas there for the people I needed to buy for, but there wasn't really much. And many of the shops, I couldn't, like I told you, I couldn't even get really a coffee anywhere. They were too busy serving Christmas lunches to make me a cup of coffee or anything. Um, So actually, I came back and actually really valued what we have locally because we're close to a Tesco, so we've got the big supermarket, and I think it's a fairly affluent area. I think there's not many that are in the middle. You're either
Okay.
on the council house level or you're pretty affluent. You know, there's a lot of men up here that work offshore
Okay.
um, on the rigs and things like that, or for like the wind farm companies and stuff. So there is money up here. So
What do you serve? What do you have for Christmas up there?
for most people, and what I did last year was a traditional dinner, so it's generally turkey and stuffing and roast potatoes and maybe Yorkshire puddings, which aren't necessarily traditional, but they do, you know, bit gravy, pigs in blankets, lots of the little sausages with bacon wrapped around, little sausages,
Okay.
yeah, just loads of sides really. Your Christmas pudding, really rich stuff. Yeah, the whole shebang.
Was it like that in your childhood as well?
Yeah, big dinners. I mean, my mum, up until the processed food revelation, she was a traditional cook and would cook everything from scratch. She'd have a rice pudding from scratch, and she would make everything for Christmas from the pudding and the lot of it. It was, we did have beautiful dinners for sure. It was as things, I think more as the 90s hit, everything started coming in a cardboard box, I think. Once she discovered convenience food. But yeah, we like I say, there was lots about my childhood that was really lucky like that.
Nice.
I can't just moan about everything and the emotional kind of sides. It was either one thing or the other. I think it was never a comfortable level. You were either blessed or a bit on the outs. It were a bit like that, really. Yeah, and that kind of gives you that sense of never quite knowing where you are, I think, or what you can expect.
Mm, mm. Yeah. I
And then
think
I'll
every
never forget the year that I was begging, begging, begging for a puppy for ages, and I got a pair for my birthday on the 28th. And I got a pair of turquoise corduroys, and I was like mortified. Turquoise corduroys and a £5 note. And I wanted a puppy.
I'm not gonna comment that one.
I
I
went
think
to the market and could not find a single thing that went with these turquoise corduroy trousers.
the puppy would have fit really well.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Oh,
Or
dear.
maybe you should get yourself Etienne for Christmas.
Oh, I kept thinking, shall I have a road trip after Christmas and go get her? It's that thing of I'm not sure if I'm selling the house and all of that. It's just that uncertainty in the middle, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to be a grown up. I'm trying to be an adult human being. At the same,
Around Christmas. I don't
yeah,
know. It's gonna be a child around Christmas.
yeah. Well, I think I always say that because of what happened to me at 12, there's always a big aspect to me that will always be a 12-year-old child. I always feel like in some conversations, there's a certain naivety about me, a certain lack of life experience that people took for granted, say between 10 and mid-20s, that I didn't get. So there's always a little element of me that it's, oh, I'm 50 years old and I'm still a 12-year-old child.
I have one more question that just came up. Well, I've got tons of questions. You and I can talk forever and ever. But one more question. Would it actually be, because I'm just thinking about myself now, would it actually be a possibility to listen to one of your sing songs in preparation? When people are stressed about Christmas, which
Yeah.
it is a real thing, is there a possibility to have like a sing song that I call your little
Hypnosis
little
recording, yeah.
recordings, to prepare yourself almost to become neutral for Christmas, or I don't know, neutral, but not be so emotionally attached to Christmas, or
Yeah,
can it be like a tool for, you know, put it into making the cookies and going the shopping and getting the tree and all that, putting in the sing song, the recording,
yeah.
just to calm that subconscious triggered.
It's sort of let it go and allow, isn't it, really?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, a recording would definitely work for that. I mean, I've just been putting something together for my own little group, which I'm going to just do a little mini RTT. Let's go back and find a scene from Christmas that maybe wasn't so happy. And then we're going to do a little bit of work on that. And then we'll end on the reframing it and the positive things. So I'm actually going to do something like that on Monday. I've got it booked in for. But yeah, you could do certainly do a recording to kind of take the stress out and the expectation out of Christmas, I think.
I think the expectation,
and
yeah,
the
and also
pressure. Yeah, to do it all,
pressure.
have it all perfect.
I'm sure we all have a memory that wasn't very pleasant, you know,
Mm.
like I just said, that what first Christmas without my ex-husband,
Mm.
it wasn't pleasant. Yes, it just wasn't. And that's just from my adulthood. I mean, there are
Yeah.
plenty memories from my childhood that
Mm. I mean, my dad, bless him, he always managed to mess things up. He would either knock like a whole bottle of wine over, or, you know, my mum would have this beautiful table and he'd just come in and like his belly had bounced the table, and next thing it was like, and you'd be sat there doing the dinner and it's like, oh God. You know, it was all like stained, and, or that something had slapped on the plate where something was, or something like that. And, you know, bless him, he was what he is, what he is, my dad. In some ways he can't help it, but he wouldn't. He's he's a perfect anomaly, is my dad. I can't even begin to describe him. He's like a sitcom character. You'd have to experience him to understand it, you know. If something could go wrong, it went wrong, really. It's my dad,
and I
really.
think it's exactly what you just said. It's accepting Christmas for what it is in
Mm.
where you are right now. You know, I'd love to have my kids around, but I don't.
Yeah.
So am I going to have 3, 4, 5 days of crying? No, I'm going to
No.
have, you know, I'm going to make it as nice as possible
Mm.
for with the resources that I have and the environment that I'm in. And I think that's just, again, when we start accepting of where we are and how it is right now, then there's not this expectation, and then there's not that depression, and then there's not that
I
yeah,
mean,
disappointment.
I have no clue what I'm going to eat or anything like that. Yeah. I mean, I don't like the Christmas shopping thing. I don't like all that heaving. I don't like
So
queuing.
do I.
Because generally I just go and buy my nut. I mean, I did a proper dinner last year, but I was thinking this year, shall I just order like get takeaway on Christmas Eve, just get a few extras and
Yeah,
just
why
have
not?
like, you know, rather, because I don't want all that pressure, and it's only going to be me, so I'll be doing like what you're doing. Really, is just pleasing yourself and.
But maybe we could have Christmas dinner together via Zoom. I mean, I'm just thinking, I'm
Yeah.
basically going to be sitting. But maybe we should do that. I'll get myself a takeout dinner.
The
I
only,
can do
the only
that.
thing I was thinking, and I don't really drink now because it doesn't suit me, but one of my the drinks that I used to love when I was really into sweets
Yeah.
was, have you ever had Pernod? It's like an aniseed based drink. It's
Oh yeah,
a
no.
French one. Yeah, well, it's Pernod and black currant of all things. And I thought I could just buy a bottle of Pernod and just like drink Pernod and black for 2 days straight and see what happens. I said I'll probably have purple teeth for life, but it might be worth it.
No, no. Rather have dinner with me online.
I'll probably just be manically depressed and regretful if I do it, but I'm very tempted. I must
That's
admit.
not an option. I
To
won't let that.
revisit my young adulthood and just to do that.
But I think, you know, it does. I mean, we joke about it now, but you know, I think there's a few people that sit together on online because it's just at the moment not
Mm,
any way different, you know. And
yeah.
Christmas is what you make out of it because, you know, as we talked about it today in all different variations, there is no the Christmas because there are so many variations and so many stories and so many dates where this Jesus Christ was born, you know, and you're like
Yeah, yeah.
what to eat and you know.
What did I tell you though, Nadia? It belongs to us Capricorns. We're the winners. We've got Jesus. That's how we beat all of the star signs.
I think that's a good point to wrap this episode.
Oh, Jesus and I have something in common when you know, because hairdressers always tell you to like air dry your hair when you've got curls, but when I air dry my hair, I literally look like Jesus because I look like that picture of the Sacred Heart, you know, the Catholic one where he's very Anglo-Saxon and he's got like the wavy hair. I just look like that.
Whatever rocks your boat, Anne-Marie. Okay.
Right, so I think we're
Let's
planning to
wrap it
talk.
here.
We're going to talk between now and New Year's, or film something between now and then, aren't we? And do another one, I think, to try and keep ourselves on track.
I think we can do a New Year's episode because
Yeah.
a lot of things going around New Year. Yeah, let's do that.
Yes, we will. But
Okay.
thank you everybody for watching us. And like I said, please think to like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. We're two business ladies on our own, building our businesses, aren't we? And we want to grow.
Episode 4, we're
Yeah,
getting there.
yeah, we're getting there. We're doing this
Okay.
podcast thing. All right. See you later,
Bye.
everybody. Bye.